Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope you all have a blessed time and get to spend it with your family as well as your friends. And thank you for everything you guys have done for me this year. The support has been absolutely unreal, and I just want to say I'm eternally grateful to have an awesome gang like all of you guys that I can play and talk about my favorite video game with. On the subject of Christmas as well, there are a lot of new players coming into the game who may have just got it for the Christmas season, and in the past week, we have seen two updates for Red Dead Online, one which introduced Moonshiners and the Outlaw Pass and Title Update 1.15, as well as the Christmas update just recently, which brought some fresh content into the game and officially kicked off the Moonshiners DLC drip feed updates that will arrive on a weekly basis from here on out. And now, as we talked about the other day in my Everything That Changed video with the 1.15 update for Red Dead, we discussed new changes and tunings on the back end for some weapons, thus mixing up the playing field as well as the best types to use for certain situations in PvE in Red Dead Online. Also, with the introduction of the Navy Revolver into Red Dead, is it possible that it became one of the best and most preferred weapons to use in the game? Today, I want to talk to you guys about my best and favorite weapons in Red Dead Online after the most recent updates of 1.15 Moonshiners and the Christmas update, and of course, let you guys know what you can do well with when using these weapons pretty much in any capacity when you want to jump into the game and steamroll during some of your missions. Of course, as always, these are subjective and they are my own personal thoughts and opinions, and if you guys have any weapons that differ or ones that you think should be added to this list, feel free to let me know in the comments section down below. But before we get into it all, if you guys are new to the channel and want to stay up to date with all things Red Dead Online on a daily basis, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button to stay up to date with all other things Red Dead Online and RDR2 Moonshiners. But anyways, let's talk about our weapons. A short little preface here to this little fact, and for this particular video, I am mostly talking about what's best to use on the PvE side of things with the game, and if you want a video on the best weapons to use for PvP and player versus player, make sure to let me know as well, since some of these weapons were not tuned and some of these are still overlapping from my previous best weapons video. Some weapons have retained their spots in my top selection, but more specifically, I think there is one that definitely makes its way onto my list as a preferred top weapon with the most recent update, and we will start off with that one. And that weapon is the new Navy Revolver. Coming along with the Navy Revolver is a secret variant called a Low-Res Revolver, which you can unlock in Red Dead Online by completing various challenges in Grand Theft Auto Online through one of Rockstar's cross promotions, which has extra attachments you can add to the Navy, and it also has some features like blood kill marks along the side of the gun, which look really sweet in my opinion. But for the sake of this video, we will just talk about the base version and the base variant, which is the standard Navy Revolver. It's based on the famous real-life Colt 1851 Navy Revolver, and this weapon actually does the highest damage per bullet compared to other revolvers, meaning the Navy has the best damage profile out of all revolvers currently in Red Dead Online. Clocking in at 52 damage, this places the Navy Revolver 2 points of damage above the LeMat, 6 points over the Schofield, 10 points over the Cattleman, and 12 points over the Double Action just in terms of damage alone. But what about other statistics like fire rate, range, reload, and accuracy? Because surely those matter as well. Well, I still argue that the Navy excels in those categories too. The Navy Revolver has a 72 fire rate, 72 accuracy, 50 range, and 50 reload, which for having a revolver in Red Dead Online with an overall in-game rating of 59.20, these stats are amazing. But there is a downside to this weapon, which I will let you know of. Its really only problem here is the damage at range, because this weapon is a 2-hit kill to the body, and it also has the range to take out targets from afar, but the damage you do to enemies past a certain distance really hinders using this weapon at range. Of course, it is a revolver at the end of the day, so you wouldn't want to necessarily use it like a repeater or a sniper anyway, but I do find using Schofields or LeMats at the really far ranges are better than if you were to use this Navy Revolver here. But reload wise, the Navy clocks in 8 points slower than reloading with the LeMat Revolver and 14 points for the Schofield, but in use, it's honestly not too bad, and it's not really noticeable going from LeMat to the Navy. I've been a LeMat fan ever since it released, and although Schofield fans, you guys may surely notice the difference because the reload of the Schofield is a lot faster, but those are really my only quarrels with the Navy Revolver. You can get it for $275 or 11 gold bars in Red Dead Online, and the description of this weapon is said to be, "Behold this 36 caliber single action revolver capable of sending a ball of hot lead at an astounding velocity of 1,000 feet per second. There exists no mammal nor revenue agent capable of outrunning its mortiferous efficacy, and we encourage you to prove otherwise. Now, moving on to one of the other best weapons in Red Dead Online is, of course, the Lancaster Repeater. And this is a well-rounded gun that uses a fast lever action system to load the next cartridge. It may have lower damage compared to other repeating rifles, but the quick firing rate and the good accuracy definitely give this weapon the advantage. It also has an ammo capacity of 14 rounds. The Lancaster Repeater will cost you $243 or 10 gold bars in the online, and it does really well. It has 55 damage, 59 fire rate, 76 accuracy, 65 range, 70 reload speed for an overall rating of 65, and that is very good for a repeater. One of the notable owners is Black Belle. She likes to use that weapon if you ever see her at her cabin in the online, and this is definitely my go-to repeater here. I'm using this most of the time. Do I prefer the damage on the Litchfield? Yes. Do I prefer the accuracy and the fire rate of the Evans? Yes. And do I prefer the reload speed of the Carbine Repeater compared to the Lancaster? Yes. But overall, the Lancaster is so well-rounded. There are some little things that really upset me about the other weapons. The Carbine is just, I feel like, is the worst of the bunch. The fire rate and accuracy and the reload are really good. The Evans does like no damage at long range, and the Litchfield is just too inaccurate for me if I'm not using painted black. So Lancaster really gives me the advantage in every sort of situation. It has enough bullets for me to take down plenty of enemies and gang hideouts, free roam missions, stranger missions, bounties, all of that stuff. I'm really never dying with this weapon, and it's also great on those tier 5 legendary bounties if you're having trouble. It does just the amount of damage. You don't need to resort to the Litchfield or anything unless you absolutely feel like you need to use it for the damage. But if you're going for headshots anyway, this weapon has the perfect accuracy just for that. The Litchfield, again, if you're not using painted black, you may be struggling trying to get those headshots, because by the time that bloom circle closes in with the Litchfield, you may get shot at, you may get suppressed, in which will cause a little bit of weapon sway, and you may miss your shot, and you definitely can't be moving while trying to shoot that weapon long range, because you will probably not hit the target as well. So the Lancaster Repeater is going to clock in on my list of some of the best weapons to use in this game. Now, moving on, I want to talk about two of the shotguns, because I feel like they're both very good for two different reasons. First, I want to talk about my favorite shotgun in the game. The double barrel shotgun is definitely the Trailblazer's choice. It's powerful and deadly at close range, and the double barrel shotgun is capable of firing off 2 shots in quick succession, dropping nearly any target instantly. Again, this weapon has an ammo capacity of 2 rounds and can use incendiary buckshot, explosive slugs. It can use normal, regular buckshot, and also regular slugs. It will cost you $185 or 8 gold bars in the online, and you unlock it at level 30. So if you want the double barrel shotgun and you're just getting started here in Red Dead Online because you're a new player, just got the game for Christmas, I would recommend going for the rare shotgun, which is the same thing as the double barrel shotgun, just with a different design choice. But you can unlock that weapon instantly. It will just cost you a little bit more at, I think, $285. But the weapon statistics of this weapon goes as follows. It does 65 damage, 60 fire rate, 30 accuracy, 35 range, 45 reload speed, with an overall rating of 47. Now, this is definitely my favorite weapon for PvP because you just drop people all the time. You're always just absolutely dumping and chalking people. But in the PvE, it's also very helpful. The downside is, of course, only having the 2 rounds compared to something like I want to talk about next, which is the pump action shotgun. The double barrel, you'll still truck through some people. So as long as you're using either the double barrel or the pump action, you will be good to go. Of course, this weapon really shines in the PvP, but in the normal free roam, whether you're going for bounties or something, you can expect long-range shotgun kills with the double barrel shotgun. And honestly, the reload speed is so fast now that you probably won't get caught sleeping with this weapon while you're reloading because it just reloads that fast. But let's talk about the pump action now. The high-powered Lancaster pump action shotgun has a large ammo capacity and quick reload capabilities, and despite its average accuracy, this gun will still hold true should you find yourself confronted by a wild beast or man in close combat. This gun has an ammo capacity of 5 rounds, has an online price of $266 or 11 gold bars, and you unlock it at level 5, making it a great starter shotgun. The pump action does a damage of 61, 47 fire rate, 37 accuracy, 35 range, 60 reload, with an overall rating of 48, also making this shotgun very good. And the reason I would say using this weapon in the PvE side of things is just because of the enemies you're running into. You're running into a lot more enemies, and it's good to have a little bit of a spread on this weapon because you'll be able to just impact their legs, their torso, and their head, possibly even blow their head off with this shotgun. And it's great to just truck through missions. You can go through and solo a 5-star legendary bounty just by using the pump action shotgun, just like some of these other weapons on this list, and you will be taken care of very well. I highly encourage you guys try out this weapon if you have not already. Again, unlock it at level 5, and it's a great choice for new players, and also new players will just benefit from all of these weapons. So we're going to be talking about the next one on my list, which is the bolt action rifle, and it's a strong and versatile rifle built to perform in any environment, and the bolt action mechanism allows for quick firing and reloading, making this rifle an ideal choice for long range combat with multiple targets. This gun has an ammo capacity of 5 rounds. It costs $216 or 9 gold bars, and you can unlock it as early as rank 7. The bolt action rifle does 72 damage, 37 fire rate, 82 accuracy, 75 range, and 55 reload, with an overall rating of 64.20. Again, this weapon is great both for head hunting in during things like bounties or stranger missions, and it will also help you during your cell missions for your trader and your moonshiner, just in case you get attacked, because you can get that insane power at insanely long ranges with the bolt action. The lock-on range is very far if you play with auto lock or auto aim and aim assist, and also just you can fire the bullet super far, much further than you can any type of repeater. So if you were standing super far away with a repeater and I was standing far away with a bolt action, I could possibly hit my shot on you, whereas your weapon wouldn't even touch me. That is how much range the bolt action has, and that is, I think, where it really shines on the enemy side of things. But again, for hunting, this is definitely your weapon of choice. You can get 3-star carcasses and 3-star skins using the bolt action rifle, as long as the animal is a 3-star in the first place. You can also one-shot buffalo and elk as long as you hit them in the certain part of the face. This weapon is a trusty hunting weapon, and it's very versatile both for enemies and hunting, like I said. So now moving on, another weapon that's kind of good for PvP combat and also at normal enemies in the free roam, but it's more so for hunting small game, is the Varmint Rifle. You unlock it at level 8, and the quick firing Lancaster Varmint Rifle is designed for hunting small mammals and large birds using a special low caliber type of ammunition with reduced damage. However, the large ammo capacity and fast fire rate make this an effective weapon against large groups of enemies as well. Like I said, it has an ammo capacity of 14 rounds and can only use 22 caliber ammo. It costs $72 in Red Dead Online or 3 gold bars, and like I said, you unlock it at level 8. Again, I use it for hunting small game as well as the birds out in the swamp. It does a damage of 42, has a fire rate of 65, has an accuracy of 76, has a range of 60, and a reload speed of 68 with an overall rating of 62.20. But again, I wouldn't necessarily recommend using this weapon against enemies unless you're going for headshots, because keep in mind, this is 22 caliber bullets this weapon uses, so it's going to take a lot of body shots to kill either a player, especially if they're using special Deadeye cards or tonics. And of course, normal enemies in the free roam, just bots and computers, they're still going to absorb a lot of damage because this weapon doesn't do much damage in the first place. But it is definitely good for hunting, and if you're good with headshots, then the Varmint Rifle is something you can find pretty useful to you. Now, I do want to talk about one more weapon before we wrap this up, and that is the Mauser Pistol. If anyone was wondering when I was going to talk about a pistol, I do just want to mention the Mauser Pistol. It's a new import from Germany. The Mollberg Mauser is a modern semi-automatic pistol with low damage. The rapid fire rate of this weapon, alongside with a large ammo capacity, makes the Mauser a good choice for close range combat or when surrounded by multiple enemies. And this gun has an ammo capacity of 10 rounds. It costs $600 in online, so it is pretty expensive, or if you want to use it with gold, it will cost you 24 gold bars, and you can unlock the Mauser Pistol at level 34. But this weapon is really awesome. Like I said, it's great at close range. It's amazing for those tier 5 legendary bounties, especially when you dual wield Mausers, because you have 20 rounds and you could just basically, if you use Deadeye and use 2 of these dual wielding them, it sounds like you're firing a machine gun. That is how quick the rate of fire is with the Mauser Pistol, and so you will definitely find it very useful in your arsenal of certain weapons here. And I just want to talk about it briefly. Some of the weapon stats: it does 36 damage, 80 fire rate, 62 accuracy, 50 range, and 75 reload speed. And just one of the tips I would mention, again, since it does more lower damage compared to something like the semi-automatic or the volcanic pistol, you want to go for headshots and probably use painted black with this weapon, since the accuracy lacks in some certain things. It definitely shines up close. At medium and long range, you'll want to use painted black surely to get that accurate, bloomless headshot and just be on with your life right there. Now, absolutely, when it comes to the best weapons to use, a lot of it is situational, and depending on the type of player you are, there may be a certain gun that comes to mind you absolutely would use over one of the weapons I mentioned, but this is still my list of best weapons to use across all different types of play styles, whether it's missions, both story and free roam like strangers and bounties, what I use to hunt, as well as what I would also bring into PvP, but I do have a slightly different list for that, and many more tips I can give on how to use these weapons for that player versus player type of purpose. So with that being said, if you want to see that video, please let me know. But ultimately, that is where we are at right now after title update 1.15 in Red Dead Online, and that's where we're going to wrap it up. I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback in the comments section down below. Is there anything in particular you would add to this list? Maybe take away, maybe agree with or disagree with? Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts, and hopefully you enjoyed the video. And if you did, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Red Dead Online and RDR2 Moonshiners. All of my content arrives on a consistent basis, and if you want to follow me over on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, those are the best places to get connected with me outside of YouTube. I practically live on all of those platforms, and you can feel free to strike up a conversation or ask me a question, whatever it may be. All of my links are down there in the description down below for you guys to click on. But with all that out of the way, thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope you guys all have a fantastic day, and Merry Christmas, everybody. And I will see you guys in the next Red Dead Online video. Adios, amigos.